Hello and welcome to this LinkedIn Masterclass on First Impressions Count on LinkedIn for the Build Your Business Now Summit. I believe that there has never been a better time to learn how to communicate and network with confidence on LinkedIn. If we're not already connected on LinkedIn, it would be great to connect with you there, and I've put up my LinkedIn URL up on the screen. Please send me a personalised connection request and let me know that you did this webinar during the summit, and I will connect with you as soon as possible. You can also follow my company page, which is called My Super Connector, and I have a LinkedIn group which is called Networking Tips with My Super Connector. This is a safe space and an area for us to continue the conversation, and feel free to join the group and ask me some questions in it. So up on the screen now, I have the stats for LinkedIn as of May 2020, and you can see there are currently 690 million members in 200 countries and regions worldwide. 1 out of every 3 professionals in the world is on LinkedIn. Sure, there are over 2 billion Facebook users. However, the people on LinkedIn are in that professional business mindset. LinkedIn is also the most powerful online network in terms of B2B lead generation and in terms of building your personal brand. This is what most of us think of when it comes to LinkedIn. We think of an online CV, we think of spammy salespeople in our inbox, we think of recruiters reaching out, human resources, career services, and corporate. Ultimately, we think of people in suits and that it doesn't necessarily apply to us as a business owner. I've great news for everybody listening here today. LinkedIn works for absolutely everyone. It works for all businesses, all industries, and all career stages. So, whether you're a startup or B2C or B2B, maybe you're running a salon or a coffee shop, or you're considered an influencer, LinkedIn works for everybody. I realise that some of you listening here today may be new to LinkedIn, so I'm just going to briefly break it down for you. So, what is LinkedIn? Well, LinkedIn is many things. Firstly, an information rich database of connections, company pages, and groups, searchable by both Google and LinkedIn's own algorithm. LinkedIn is a networking tool where you can see mutual connections with third parties. It's a fantastic platform for growing personal brands and establishing experts. It's also a platform for showcasing endorsements and recommendations. Ultimately, it's a way for potential clients to find what they need in various ways via LinkedIn search, in LinkedIn groups, and via content from their first, second, and third degree connections. There are many benefits of using LinkedIn. Firstly, to network. And there are 3 ways you can do this. So, number 1, it's the home feed. So, all of those posts, those blogs, those videos, those comments, those likes, those shares. Secondly, LinkedIn Messenger. So, they are the emails between you and one other person. And you can also have group messages in Messenger. You can send audio messages and you can send video messages. And lastly, you've got LinkedIn groups. You can also use LinkedIn for research and to gather market intelligence. You can develop brand awareness. You can generate leads and increase sales. You can find new partners and businesses to collaborate with. You can find potential employees or a new employer. And you can establish yourself as an expert and thought leader in your field by answering questions and posting on your preferred subject. Ultimately, it's an amazing database of professional users. Today, I'm going to touch briefly on my journey using LinkedIn as both an employee and an entrepreneur. So, I'm originally from Dublin in Ireland and I studied a BA there in English and French. On graduating, I fell into the world of admin, which seemed to suit my personality, and I worked for a technology magazine back in Dublin as an editor's assistant. Being young, I wanted to travel, so I went to Australia for a year, and then after that, I found myself in London. I was unable to break into publishing, so I rebranded myself as a high level personal assistant, and that's where I discovered LinkedIn. I started to connect with my colleagues, first locally, then nationally, and then around the world, and likewise my peers. I also connected with suppliers, so at the time, a lot of restaurants and hotels, and anybody who could really help me do my job better. I also started to connect with trainers, brand ambassadors, people who were giving back and making an impact. In the top left hand corner, I won the title of the most networked PA in London, and that was mainly down to my LinkedIn usage. So before going to any networking event or conference, I would try to get the delegate list and connect with people in advance. So by the time I arrived there, they already welcomed me, they recognized me, they'd already bought into that know, like, and trust factor, which is super powerful. I then went on to win a National Rising Star Award from We Are the City and a Global Super Achiever Award from Pittman Training. Fast forward a few years, and I quit my job in financial services as a PA. Basically, what happened was I slipped a disc. I had to have back surgery and get the disc taken out. So, for a month after my surgery, I was lying on the ground. I had a lot of time to think about my life, my future, where I was going with my life. So, I decided that I actually wanted to help more people. I really enjoyed using social media. I figured I was pretty good at it. I'd won all of these awards. I was ranked as the number one PA in the UK online. And I slowly came to the realization that not everybody liked social media like me. They didn't find it easy. They were especially intimidated by LinkedIn. And I thought, I can help people to find their voice online. I want to share the LinkedIn love. And that's why I set up my company, My Super Connector. So I did that in 2017, and I've used it in pretty much the same way. I do a combination of the home feed, LinkedIn Messenger, and LinkedIn groups, and I connect with peers, suppliers, ambassadors, trainers, anyone that I find interesting and engaging. Basically, givers. I connect with givers. Life is too short to connect with takers. And I went on to achieve success as a business owner. I was highly commended for my commitment to the community by the Croydon Awards. I had helped a lot of companies in Croydon with volunteering on their social media. I also run events such as LinkedIn Local and She Means Business. I went on to win the title of Social Media Influencer from the Venus Awards, and I've had amazing opportunities. I was spotlighted in the F Entrepreneur campaign, which is showcasing inspiring business owners, female business owners in the UK. So I've been invited to Number 10 and to the House of Lords and featured on magazines and on the radio. Like any networking or social media networking, the secret to raising your visibility on LinkedIn is giving. I love this quote from Dale Carnegie, and it says, "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." So it's all about giving back to your network. It's not all about you. It's not all me, 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 me on the home feed. So ask yourself, how can you give back to other people in your network? Maybe it's by commenting and liking their posts. Maybe it's by sharing their posts. Maybe it's by introducing them to people in the back end in LinkedIn Messenger. Maybe it's by tagging them in posts that you think might be useful for them. Maybe it might be about sharing links with them in Messenger that you might think are valuable. Ask yourself, how can you give back to your network? I'm curious, where are you when it comes to the pyramid of success on LinkedIn? Are you absent? Do you have a profile but you never log on? Are you a lurker? Maybe you're lacking in confidence, you're hiding in the sidelines, you feel a bit intimidated. Are you a networker? Are you productive and you're beginning to see the results and influence that you want? Or perhaps you're an influencer and you're posting engaging content consistently and building relationships with your network. If you're absent, don't worry, you're about to get educated on the benefits of networking. If you're a lurker, hopefully the strategies I'll give you today will really help you. If you're a networker, I would advise some accountability, so join a community of engaged members like my LinkedIn group to support consistency. Generally, influencers are making some kind of contribution, so you need to find your purpose in order to really make a difference. I want to touch a little bit on personal branding, and you might ask yourself, why do I need a personal brand as a small business owner? I'm not a big brand like Amazon or Nike. Your personal brand is your business, especially where LinkedIn is concerned. We all have a personal brand, whether we're aware of it or not. And to quote Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So it's not really what you say about yourself. So your personal brand, it's your reputation and credibility, it's your personality, it's your online presence, and it's your energy. You need to be mindful that you come across as the same person offline and online. There's nothing worse if you meet someone in real life and they don't quite match their online persona. Think of it as online dating. It doesn't help to create that know, like, and trust factor. So at all times, be you. Don't try to copy anyone else. Be you. You'll enjoy LinkedIn a lot more. It'll become easier for you. And being you is your USP. Today, we're talking all about first impressions on LinkedIn. So, I'm going to show you 3 simple LinkedIn profile tweaks that you can do, which will help you to position your brand with clarity and confidence, to attract the right audience and opportunities, to grow real life influence, to generate visibility and leads, to build authority and expertise, to help you connect to decision makers and action takers. We want action takers on LinkedIn. And ultimately, to create a career and business that you love. When it comes to your profile on LinkedIn, and indeed any content that you post out on LinkedIn, you need to be aware of AIDA, AIDA, which is the basic principle of copywriting. So you need to grab people's attention. You need to generate some kind of interest and spark a desire in them so that they are inclined to read on. And you need to get them to act. We need action takers on LinkedIn. 3 ways to make an impact and create that all important first impression are through your cover banner, your headshot, and your headline. Up on the screen now, I have my LinkedIn cover banner, otherwise known as a cover photo, and this is the area behind my headshot, my head. You can see I have it branded. It's in my brand colors. We've got my logo. You can see at a glance that I'm a LinkedIn specialist. I've listed all of my services and I've also listed my website. Your cover photo is your opportunity to showcase your personality and to warm up your audience. So you need to think of it as your West End or your Broadway banner. If you want to create your own LinkedIn cover banner, you can do so on a site like Canva, so canva.com. If this isn't for you, I completely get it. I'm quite graphically challenged myself. I would recommend that you outsource it to a graphic designer or a virtual assistant specializing in graphics. When it comes to your profile headshot, there are 2 things your profile headshot should be. The first is 400 by 400 pixels. Don't worry about this too much because when you go to upload it, it will tell you this. I also believe that your entire face should be centered and visible. This is not Instagram. This is not a place to get creative, artistic. I believe people need to see your eyes head on in order to generate that know, like, and trust factor. People need to be able to recognize you so that when they meet you at a face to face event, they know it's the same person. Ask yourself these questions when it comes to your profile headshot. Is it a selfie? Is it well lit and professional looking? Is it current? Does it even look like you? Do you look approachable? Do the colours you've chosen reflect your brand? Are you dressed suitably for the profession that you're representing? Would you want to do business with the person in the photo? If you are feeling brave and you want unbiased feedback from both the public and artificial intelligence, you can check out a website such as photofeeler.com. This is free to do, and you can load up a profile headshot or two, and then you are ranked. I actually did this when choosing my own headshot, and my current one was the one that scored the highest. So this is just a screen grab of my headline. So we've got on the screen now, we've got the cover banner, the cover photo behind my head. And as I mentioned before, this is your West End banner. You can see at a glance, I've got my logo up there, my super connector. You can see I'm a LinkedIn trainer. You can see I do one-to-one training. I have an online program and workshops, and I'm also spotlighting my website URL. We've also talked about your profile headshot. Now we're down to the headline, which is the area underneath your name. I feel it's important to touch on your name before we actually dive into your headline. This is a mistake I see frequently made on LinkedIn. Your first and your last name should always be written in full. Don't use any initials, so for example, J. Corcoran, because nobody's going to look me up with an initial. You need to always capitalize the first letter of each of your names, so your first name and your surname. If you write everything in upper or lowercase, it doesn't look professional. You need to stay consistent. I mentioned this at the start: consistency, clarity, community. You should use exactly the same version of your name wherever it appears. As an example, don't use Jennifer if you use Jen everywhere else. Don't use any special characters or symbols within the name field. You can use characters or symbols within the headline, but when it comes to your name, just leave it as your name. And finally, LinkedIn allows you the option to include your maiden name in brackets. If that's appropriate to you and your career to date, I would advise that you use it. When it comes to your LinkedIn headline, you really need to have the X factor. Ask yourself, do you really stand out? The headline is the most common mistake made on LinkedIn. Your headline is not your job title, it's a lot more. Ask yourself, who are you? Who do you help and how do you help them? I've put an example up on the screen. We have John Smith, translator, on the left, and on the right we have John Smith, London-based translator, specialising in French, Spanish and Italian for the hospitality industry. Now, John on the right has a far greater chance of being found on LinkedIn with the LinkedIn search algorithm than John on the left does. There will be thousands of translators, if not millions. Whereas if you were actually going to search for someone like John, it's likely you would actually type in the word London if that was a keyword, then again translator, and then maybe one of the languages, and John will show up. He will not show up if you do not optimize the headline area. So let's break down the headline formula. So the first part is to describe what you do, which is essentially your job title. So you need to ask yourself, how will people find you via the LinkedIn search function? Is it via your job title or in a more general way? So whatever you choose, you need to be super clear. To quote Seth Godin, not everyone is your customer, so you need to be really clear in your headline as to who exactly you can help. If you only work in a particular industry, maybe it's construction, if you only help SMEs, maybe you're only based in New York and you only work out of New York, you need to put that in your headline and be really clear as to who exactly you can help. And the third point is to add what value, benefit, or expertise you can bring to your target audience, using the most popular keywords within your industry or niche. If possible, you can include some kind of proof point that can really elevate your headline. So, for example, in my headline, I've listed that I'm an award-winning social media consultant, which helps me to build on my credibility and authority. Are you still stuck as to what to put in your headline? Hopefully these points will help you. Consider your location, your industry and sector, any specialism that you wish to highlight, your years of experience. So whether you've 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, stick that down. It all helps with the know, like, and trust. Have you won any awards or been nominated or shortlisted? What are your keywords? Can you inject some personality into that headline? Whatever you do, you need to be super specific and use clear language. At all times, you need to ask yourself, does this headline align with my personal brand and does it effectively deliver my value? I'm just quickly spotlighting some of my successes again, owing to LinkedIn. There's nothing particularly special about me as an employee or as a business owner. The three things I did on LinkedIn was number one, I'm social. I actually am social with my network. It's not called social media for nothing. Number two, I'm consistent. I show up consistently, so I've helped to generate the know, like, and trust. And number three, it's all about community for me, giving back to my community, giving back to my network. So I follow the 80-20 rule, which is really 80% of the time you should be inspiring, motivating, engaging, educating. And the 20% should be a soft push about you. So it's all about your network. It's all about the giving. We mentioned Dale Carnegie at the start. It's all about giving back to your network. If I was to quickly summarize in 5 top tips, what I've touched on today would be the following. Number one, be intentional. Always ask yourself, what are you trying to achieve on LinkedIn? Number two, be you. Don't compare yourself to anyone else on LinkedIn. Number three, first impressions count. Optimize your profile to attract your target audience. Number four, the 2 Ps. Work on your profile and then participate. Number five, be a giver. Be social, be consistent, and cultivate a community. I'm going to quickly touch on some next steps for those of you who have watched this and think I need a little bit more help. I would urge you all to check out my free LinkedIn profile success checklist, which is a PDF document. You can get it by downloading it from my website. So that's www.mysuperconnector.co.uk. I believe it's also listed in the free bundle today on the summit. You can find it there. And this checklist will go into a lot more detail than we have today in the webinar because we had very limited time. So I really think it will help you on your journey with LinkedIn and your profile. For those of you who have listened today and thought to themselves, I need a bit more training on LinkedIn. I don't want to just jump straight into strategy. I need to build a solid foundation with my profile. I have another offer, which is 50% off my LinkedIn profile success program, which is all completely online. It consists of 2 things. So the first is online training, which helps you go step by step through everything you need to do to make your profile work for you. And then at the very end of the course, which is completely self-paced, you can do it in your own time, we then book in a one-to-one strategy session with me on Zoom so we can troubleshoot everything you've learned and also touch on strategy. So this is usually £500, and until the end of June, because of coronavirus, I'm offering it for £250. You can book it directly on the website. You just click on the link on the screen, you put in that coupon code half off LPS 2020, and then you're automatically prompted to create a password. So you'll get immediate access to the course. You can then get in touch with me and we can book in your one-to-one, or you can wait till you finish the course and then we can do the one-to-one after. If you're a bit undecided as to what exactly you need to do, by all means, please book in for a free 15-minute discovery call with me. My Calendly link is up on the screen. I usually have the availability a month in advance, but given the current coronavirus climate, I'm doing this weekly. I'm also a volunteer with the NHS, so at the moment I'm offering between 10 and 20 discovery calls a week. If you go to the Calendly link and you don't see any availability, please email me and I will try and slot you in. So that's it, ladies. Thank you so much for bearing with me. We've made it to the end. I hope that you enjoyed the webinar and that you got some value from it. I'm really looking forward to learning what your takeaways are. As I mentioned at the start, don't be shy, reach out to me. My LinkedIn URL is up on the screen. I've also listed my website and my email address. You can also connect and follow me on social media such as Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. But of course, LinkedIn is my main love, and that's where I mainly hang out, so you can find me there. If you've any niggling questions,